How's it going, everyone? Yes, State of Play is back. No PlayStation Showcase, but State of Play will be happening tomorrow. Yes, they wasted no time. State of Play will be happening tomorrow, and there is a note on the PlayStation blog. State of Play is back. Tune in live for updates on PlayStation 5 and PlayStation VR 2 titles, plus a look at PlayStation Studios games arriving later this year. So PlayStation Studios, they are going to be dropping some games this year. We had already known. What they had said is no major IPs will be getting new releases this year. So that is what the 1 year window was about. I highly doubt they're gonna announce a major new IP and release it this fall. Like, I highly doubt, let's say, Naughty Dog reveals their new game, and it's coming out this fall. I could see Naughty Dog's next title, honestly, being a 2026 game, even if it's Last of Us Part 3, whatever it is, a new IP, Last of Us Part 3. You know, I am happy that they are calling this a State of Play, because they are tempering expectations. If you use the label Showcase, people are gonna expect the world, and I would expect the world as well. And last year, I think that was the main issue. If you just called that Showcase State of Play, and you could have even broken up that Showcase. I saw this idea on Twitter, so I'm totally plagiarizing it. I forgot the user's name, but it's literally pinned on one of my Twitter accounts, and because that dude was like so smart in how he broke it down. If you had just called last year's Showcase State of Play and you split it up across two State of Plays, people would have been really happy. Like, one of those State of Plays had Phantom Blade Zero, and you could have suckered people into thinking it was coming out in our lifetimes, and it probably will. I know people are saying it'll be out in 2025. Again, I like to remain pessimistic when it comes to these things. And the other one, you could have centered it around some third-party stuff, Metal Gear Remake, and people would have been really, really happy if that was the case. But, or Spider-Man 2. You could have centered around one State of Play, but because the label Showcase was used, people think back to the heydays of the big E3 events, and PlayStation had incredible E3 events back in the day because their first party was churning out games pretty regularly. You had a 2-year turnaround time, or even some of those studios were releasing games like every year. Like, they were wild with that. Guerrilla these days, you're talking about a game every 5 years. Guerrilla back in the day, 2009 Killzone 2, 2011 Killzone 3, 2013 Killzone Shadowfall. Like, they were putting out games much more frequently, so you cannot have those events anymore. You cannot have the level of events that they had back in the day, because Naughty Dog is going to take 6 years to develop a new game. Sucker Punch, 6 years to develop a new game. You can't have Sucker Punch be revealing a game every 2 years because these games take so long to make. So I really just think that era of presentations, and Sony, I think, had some of the best E3 presentations back in the day because they were always focused on the game. Sometimes they did do nonsense like PlayStation Move and Wonderbook and all that trash, but for the most part, a lot of their events were really, really good, and because I feel like they focused so much on the games. But that's really hard to do when first party is going to take so long in revealing their games that, you know, you really can't have those big scale events as frequently. You can't do a yearly event like that because you're not going to have that many games anymore from your first party studios. That's just not the world we live in anymore, outside of like Insomniac churning out games. But even Insomniac, like, their release cycle has delayed as well comparatively to what it was back in the day. But you know, back on track, PlayStation 5 titles, I do expect Ghost of Tsushima 2 or whatever they decide. I don't think it'll be called Ghost of Tsushima 2, but Ghost of whatever it's called. I do expect that to get announced. Maybe not at this event, but I think that's gonna be a 2025 game, and I would think that that's gonna get announced fairly soon. And I do think you want one key title like that to get people really excited. And, you know, it is a State of Play, but State of Play, the last one, I thought was awesome. At least the one I'm thinking about, the one from January, I think it was, where they did the Stellar Blade presentation. I thought that was tremendous. They did more State of Plays after that, but that's the one that really stands out to me because I thought how they showcased that game was fantastic. And that's exactly what you want out of a State of Play. Put a shine into some of these games that are coming out fairly soon, and if you want to announce one game that's a 2025 game, I think that's totally fine. It is going to be a 30+ minute show, and 14 games. You know, some of them are going to be PSVR 2 titles that you guys aren't going to care about, so it is what it is. I imagine Gravity Rush 2 Remastered will get announced here soon. The other studios that we don't know what they're working on, Bluepoint, Sucker Punch and Naughty Dog are the three ones that really stand out to me, and most people bring up Sucker Punch and Naughty Dog because Sucker Punch, everybody knows it's the new Ghost title. Naughty Dog, Last of Us Part 3, or the new IP. Blue Point is a total mystery to me. I imagine it's a new IP. If it's a remake of an iconic game, just give me that Legend of Dragoon remake, baby, but, you know, I don't know what it's gonna be as far as that's gonna be, but since they are saying PlayStation Studios titles arriving later this year, I imagine that new Astrobot game is gonna get revealed as well. But based on what they had said earlier, I don't expect there to be anything major. What I could see is, based on them saying PlayStation Studios games arriving later this year, I know they note PlayStation 5 and PSVR 2. Could see the God of War Ragnarok PC announcement here. I don't know if you want to marry the PC announcements and the PlayStation announcements on the same show, because it does seem like there's a contingent of the PlayStation audience that gets really, really upset when one of their when one of their exclusives, so to speak, gets stripped away and isn't an exclusive anymore. It's really shocking to me. I actually had somebody come in to do some work in my apartment, and it turned out he was a gamer. He saw my PlayStation 5, and literally the dude started bugging out at me on how he hates the PlayStation games coming to PC. I swear I'm not making this story up. I know that sounds so insane. I swear this happened, and I was like, I can't believe this is actually happening right now. Obviously, I didn't like fight back with him or anything, saying like, hey, more people get to play the games and everything like that. Like, it's whatever. People can have their opinions on that. They're coming out on a 2-year delay, so like, who cares? Like, God of War Ragnarok's gonna be on PC probably by the end of this year. Whether they announce it here, whether they announce it at a different event, I don't know. There is also like the one announcement that would literally make this show for me, and I don't even know why I'm throwing that out there, because I'm supposed to be the pessimistic type here. But if somehow we get a Lost Soulside update and the game is coming out fairly shortly, like, I'll call this show a W. I'll give this show a 10 out of 10, even if Lost Soulside ends up being the most mid-action RPG of all time. Just that game being here and getting announced with a release date, like, if it's been in the shadows, just making a lot of progress and whatnot, I think that would be tremendous. But like, that is such a shot in the dark. Like, I have no thought process on whether or not that's gonna happen. I just heard about like a ratings listing, and then that got my mind thinking. I'm a sucker sometimes when it comes to these kinds of things, so like, you know, if Lost Soulside gets announced or gets an update and we get a release date for it, like, okay, we're cooking then. We are certainly cooking then, and this show immediately gets a 10 out of 10. You can show me a Wonder Book rerun and I'll be okay with it if you give me Lost Soulside. Just the idea of that game still existing and coming out in my lifetime would make me a very, very happy boy. But games like that are why I think Phantom Blade Zero is a long ways away, because Sony will reveal games like this and then they will be perpetually in development, and you might go through a literal phase in your life before these games come out. That does happen. Look at Bethesda with Elder Scrolls 6. Like, they be revealing games quite possibly ahead of, you know, you breathing your last breath in this world, as morbid as that sounds. But excited for the show. Hopefully it's good. I do think this kicks off the wave of big events, and remember that PlayStation is going to be at Summer Game Fest as well, so the announcements and the reveals won't stop here. I'm sure there will be some third-party focus as well, but it looks like, based on the fact that they are looking at PlayStation Studios games arriving later this year, that is going to be at the heart and soul, and I wouldn't expect a Ghost 2 to come out this year, of course, based on what they had said previously, but stuff like a Gravity Rush 2 remaster, stuff like Astrobot, stuff to bridge the gap. As I always say, I think those smaller releases are very, very important and could, you know, quell a lot of the disinterest in PlayStation right now. Even though, as a console platform, they're absolutely crushing it. They are destroying everything, and I'm just talking about it from a first-party standpoint. They got Stellar Blade. That game's tremendous, and will be on PC at some point. Ronin was pretty good, and FF7 Rebirth as a timed exclusive was great, and you got a lot of great stuff coming from third-party as well, so there certainly isn't a shortage of games dropping. We'll see how it all turns out again tomorrow, May the 30th, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, a little bit later in the day, but excited for it. That'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.